So, have you ever wondered what happens when you try to capture comedy just on paper? We're about to dive into a super popular comedy scene, but we're going to start in a weird place. It's automatically generated transcript. And you're about to see why sometimes the actual words are the least funny thing about a joke. All right, take a look at this. This is, I kid you not, a direct quote from the transcript of the scene. Foreign cylinder, me into the earth. Laughs again. It sounds less like a comedy script and more like some kind of weird experimental poem. What is even happening here? And that's really the big question, isn't it? How can this total mess of words be the backbone of a hilarious comedy scene? Well, here's the thing. This broken transcript, it's not a mistake. It's actually a puzzle. And if we solve it, we'll uncover the secret formula for why this scene works so well. Okay, so our investigation starts with our very first clue. And it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, the title of the video. This is our first big sign that, logic has pretty much checked out. Yeah, you read that right. I'm going to say it one more time. Who asked your mother to eat the dead dog? This is not some clever, subtle joke. It's a giant, flashing neon sign that the comedy we're about to see is built on a foundation of pure, intentional chaos. And that title is basically screaming absurdist humor. The whole point isn't to make sense. It's to drop the audience into a situation so completely ridiculous, so out there, that all you can do is laugh. The premise itself is the first punchline. Let's move on to our second clue. This one is hidden inside all that nonsense we saw earlier. It's those few little bits of English that somehow made it through the translation. They look totally random, but trust me, they're crucial. So we have things like, just some joker in the store, and 15 to 25 age groups. On their own, they make zero sense, right? But these aren't just random computer glitches. They're like little breadcrumbs, pointing us directly to the kind of comedy that's going on. So check this out. See how these little pieces connect to actual comedy techniques? Joker in the store is obviously a pop culture reference. 15 to 25 age groups, that's a direct shout out to who they think is watching. And so Girls Go Ahead, that's a classic fourth wall break, talking right to the audience. This comedy is anything but self-contained. It's constantly winking at us. And this leads us to our third, and honestly, our most important clue. It's not about the words we can read. It's about all the words we can't. Why does the word foreign show up over and over? The real answer is in the gaps, in what's missing. Just look at this breakdown. A whopping 95% of the transcript is basically untranslatable gibberish for the AI. But that's not a bug, it's a feature. It's proof that the real comedy is happening in the physical performance, at a speed and an energy that just can't be turned into text. The jokes are in the delivery, the tone, the chaotic timing, all stuff a machine just can't hear. And that brings us to the most critical point of all. The pace is way more important than the words. The humor here is physical. It's all about that frantic rhythm, the nonstop delivery, and the pinpoint comic timing. It's a performance that speaks the language that you just can't write down. Okay, let's put it all together. We've got our clues, a totally absurd premise, jokes that are super specific to the audience, and a pace that's driven by performance, not dialogue. With all this evidence, we can finally crack the code and lay out the complete anatomy of this scene's comedy. And here it is, the three pillars. First, it kicks off with a bizarre premise to create that chaotic vibe. Then, it layers in these inside jokes that really reward the people who are in on it. And finally, the most crucial part, it's all held together by a performance where the physical comedy and the rapid-fire timing are the absolute stars of the show. And get this, we figured all that out without being able to read a single coherent sentence. And that's really the big idea here. The fact that the transcript is a failure isn't a flaw. It's the final piece of proof. It shows us that this kind of comedy is a living, breathing performance. It's an experience built on pure energy, physicality, and timing. Trying to understand it by reading a script is like trying to understand a beautiful dance by just looking at a single blurry photograph. You just can't. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. What other kinds of art completely lose their magic the second you try to write them down? Think about it. Music, dance, maybe even the perfect play in a sports game. Let me know what you think. Thanks for tuning in.